purpose. I don't, probably not for every stage. And I get that, because sometimes people just want a good juke, and that's okay. Because I've been in my juke days too, where I wanted a good juke before the show and after. Come on, somebody. But those days are they're over for me. And so I go under the instructions of the Holy Ghost, and so that's why I'm very careful about assignments versus agendas. Because if I go on an assignment, then God, you're going to tell me which way to go. If I go on an agenda, I got to do pretty much as what's set to do. Right. That makes sense. So yes, there are some things that, yes, I had to grow, but there are some things, but because of where I'm at today, I just choose not to compromise. Now, I'm very sensitive. I try to be very sensitive to the Holy Ghost. So that, therefore, you kind of have to know the house. You got to know what kind of house you're in. If I come to your house and you might not believe in God, you might believe in Buddha. I got to know what kind of house I'm in. I got to know, which way to go. So, yeah, but there's always room for adjustment. So to answer your question, there's always room for adjustment, but I don't compromise who I stand for.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And you know what? Sometimes I wonder, like, where do you get all this energy from? Like, when you hit that stage, it's almost like you turn into a whole different person.
I watched her too. I have watched her, and I don't know her in that moment. Because if I had to do anything that she does in that moment, I cannot do it. Sometimes I cannot put one foot in front of the other one to make it up my stairs. But when I hit that stage, I have seen myself do squats, flips, almost. I'm like, who is that girl? Like, who is she? That's not me. That's not me. That's not me. I'm serious. I don't know her. When she gets to that, in that zone, I'm learning her too. That ain't Sjuwana. Sjuwana can't do all that stuff no more. She can't.
I'm like, it just seemed like you just turned, the young people say she just turned into a beast. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing to see you minister before the people. And Quartet has gotten such a horrible name because they want to act like everything, that's just a show. But you can really feel the presence of God. When you came to St. Louis, the last time you came for one of my bros, Pastor Grice, it was almost like when y'all sung, it was almost like we could have gave a benediction because the presence of God came in. And if you wasn't bringing the glory with you, it was just like, okay, we just here. And, that's what we call house dumpers. But like, you did such an awesome job and you ministered so heavily, like heavenly, that it was just like, it turned into a revival. Like, how do you feel as far as, do you ever battle? I know you don't compromise, but do you ever battle with the evangelistical part of Sjuwana to the quartet part of Sjuwana? Because people a lot of times want to keep that separate because they just want you to come sing your A-B selection.
I battles with that a lot. And I'm talking about, it has been to the place where I have literally, that could kind of go back to that compromising part, that I have quenched it and had to suffer later based on, other people's opinion, like, all she do is preach, all she do. And then I got to a place I was like, God, I just started talking to him like, you won't let me quit. I done asked you to. If you have to use me in this capacity, then put me in places where, and you're not going to always be accepted. Like he wasn't, and he performed all the miracles. So you're not going to always be, I'm not concerned about being accepted. I'm concerned about making a difference. Like, see, I know spirits because I dealt with a lot of stuff. I've been that mother where I thank God that I ain't never had to screw for no bookings. Can I say that on here? I ain't never did no stuff like that for bookings. I ain't never had to, so when I don't get it misconstrued when I say, well, they accepted me better when I was horn or whatever. But, a lot of times, we'll be honest, we have done some things that we wasn't happy about, right? But I ain't never had to to do those type of things, to get on the platform. So I'm not going to do anything foolish to stay on the platform. I'm just going to allow, my character to keep me and try, especially when God saved me, because I've done it wrong so long. While I'm trying to do it right, I just choose to do it right. And so if don't but one get it, I don't want to miss that one. So that's what I always say. Like, that's why when we go places, I don't like a lot of noise. Don't talk to me and stuff. Like, I ain't anti or nothing. I'm a people person. I don't care what my face. If you look at me, you be like, that's a mean, big old black lady. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. I love people, and I love people for real. When I love you, I love you. Now, I don't fool with everybody, because everybody ain't supposed to be a part of me. But I love people, and because I love people, and because of the anointing that's on my life, I have to be very, very strategic, and I have to be very, very careful. So I don't subject myself to a lot of places, stuff, or things, because it becomes detrimental for what I carry. And so, but when I do, in that battle moment, it's like, okay, God, and especially when God started using me in the prophetic realm. Honey, you talking about a battle. I'd be like, do I serve this? Or Lord, are you sure? Like, I don't want to say this, I don't, because sometimes, people know it's for them and they don't want to receive it, because again, sometimes we're comfortable in a place. If you ever been there, then you can relate. I know for me, I tell people, when I got saved for real, it wasn't because I didn't like what I was doing. It felt all right to me, I was cool, it was pretty cool, but it was just like, I don't want my kids to have to suffer from that, my grandchildren, my grandchildren. I don't want them, because sometimes we don't get it. It goes to the next generation or the generation after that, some of the stuff we done did. And so I'm just like, Lord, just daily save me so that I can help save somebody else. And the only way I can help save somebody else is just being that light, being that example. Because like you said, somebody always watching. Mm-hmm. And they will make you remember that they were watching the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. One thing I've learned, that people like elephants. Elephants don't forget nothing. They'll remember, people forget the bad way before they remember anything you did good. So that's why it's just good to always be on your best behavior. Because and that's the truth. And people don't, people like, oh, I ain't worried if I ain't living for nobody else. But one day, you're going to wish that you had some act right. You just never know.
Absolutely. Girl, when I tell you, I'm so grateful that, I'm just so grateful that he grabbed hold of me. Because I'm telling you, I was saying, one of my major hits was, if I die, my soul be lost, ain't nobody fault but man. And I was on my way to hell. Yeah. I was on my way to hell, man, on a whole skateboard and ice skates and all of it. Like, and that was a song that got a lot of hand claps. That was a song that got a lot of tears and all of that. That was a song that, actually put our name out here, but I'm telling you, I was just singing and I wasn't living nothing. And I ain't saying I'm perfect. Now, let me make that very clear. I am by far not perfect. But when I tell y'all, man, every day I just be like, Lord, let me do better today than I did yesterday. Because I have been through a lot. And so a lot of times, like being out here in this industry, people really don't know your story. They don't even know your journey. They might have seen you out here on the journey, but they really don't know your story. They don't know. And so we just got it twisted. We have it so messed up out here as being artists. And it don't really know. We always say like Quartet, it's in any genre of music. I believe we all struggle with the same stuff, just different day. And if you've been out here a long time, like I have, I've seen a lot. I've done a lot, but I thank God for the things that I didn't do. Or I thank God for the things that I did, but it didn't affect me like it did somebody else.
Right.
I escaped some of the aftermath where they couldn't escape it. It kept them, in bondage. So I'm just as grateful as the stuff that I escaped, than the stuff that I did, try. I'm just grateful. And so I'm even grateful for the place that I am. Sometimes I've asked God, like, why are we not further? I can probably stand next to the best of them. You know, when you go to looking at gifting and all of that, I don't get caught up with the hype. You can put me before them, after them, or what. It's not going to make me no difference. I'm going to do what you say do. And if I do what you say do, I'm going to win every time, you know, because what I've learned, you know, you done seen it. Depending on where you are and depending on the hand claps, you dump the house.
Right.
You can do the same thing and be somewhere else where don't nobody know you. You got to work a little bit harder. You got to put a little bit more elbow in it, right? But if you come somewhere and everybody love you and you got a great, bigger fan base there, you ain't got to work hard. Y'all, you got to do is sing the song.
Right.
And you done dump the house is what they call it. So I done seen it all and none of it for real moved me. I just be like, Lord, I don't want to miss that one.
Yeah.
I'm going for the one.
So, and man, I'm telling you, this is a good conversation. You know, I just feel like I'm just sitting here talking to one of my longtime friends. Like, so what you think about this? So my next question is, a lot of young ladies that's coming up in Quartet, whether they sing or not, you know, you have, let's say the market for a Quartet are mainly women. You know, you have men that's out here, but it's mainly women and young women that's following Quartet. How do you feel as far as being a lead female singer? How do you feel as far as, you know, where people don't want to admit, people don't want to admit that sex sells, even in Quartet, sex sells in Quartet. And if anybody said that it doesn't, I will call them a lie because it does. And how do you feel as a female lead singer and ministering to a lot of young females that probably not even interested because they're waiting on their favorite young guy group that's coming up? See, I ask questions that I know they be kind of like a little weird, but these are things that I see. I go across the country and I go to many concerts and I see the same thing. And I always wonder, how does that feel? Do you feel like you have to be not extra, but put a little extra on, whether they know your song or not, but because it's a lot of young ladies that's probably listening, but they probably ain't listening? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, that's why that goes back to, like, that's why I say I don't compromise, because, you know, I've been out here and I know how it works. Like, you just said it all yourself. Like 80% of the audience is females, and so even if I got one, if one of those females, or let's say 15 of those females are a female where I done took their boyfriend or their husband, they looking at me sideways anyway, right? So I can't. God, I don't even want to see her, and I really don't want her to see me. I want her to see the God in me, right? Because that person that I was 20 years ago. And so as a female artist, that's why I say, I thank God I ain't never had to give it up for no booking. If I ain't do it 20 years ago, you ain't getting none now. Like, you just ain't gonna get none, period.
You should have got it while it was going on.
You should have got it when I was a little bit silly, you know, when I thought it was working for me, y'all. So we ain't doing that. So anyway, but I ain't knocking those that do it. I'm not. I don't want y'all to think I'm being judgmental. I'm not, because I know the ropes. I know the smell of it. I know the aroma of it, because I've been there and I've done that. You know, maybe on a different bracket, but I've been there and I've done it. But anyway, so so yes, those are the times that you gotta just. That's why it's so imperative that we really be sensitive to the Spirit and we really do hear from God, because you'll work yourself. I ain't got time to be leaving my hair and eyelashes and stuff trying to make folks shout. If the word of God can't do it, it ain't supposed to be done, just period. Because I know, like, when I get finished singing, I'm not going to look the same, but I at least want to take some of my artifacts back with me. You feel me? So it's hard out here it's really hard out here for female singers, depending on your fan base, you know. And it's hard, period, because like you said, the majority of the audiences are females. And if we'll be honest, come on, we're female too. Before I'm a gospel singer, I'm already a woman. So I've been that woman that was in the audience.
Yeah.
And a brother done sung, and I'd be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Baby. Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of my ex-husband. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that part. I got 2 kids because yeah, that part. He sung. I like that song. Who was that singing that? Yeah, I need to be there. So, anyways, yeah, I've been there. I've been her. I've been that girl too. So
I get it. So even in saying that, where do you see Quartet in the next 5 years? As far as like, do you see it making a wave again? Do you see it just kind of plateauing? Because we see some things with Quartet, the platforms are changing. So how do you feel about that? And do you think that it's a good change or you think it's a bad change?
I think I don't, to be honest, a lot of stuff.
I don't even. Now wait.
Because supposed to be okay, Lord. Okay, so give me wisdom, Holy Ghost. Okay, so you know the world don't do nothing but revolve, right? Things just revolve, and But now we do have. I will say that there are some groups, some up and coming artists that are really they're before their time. But if we'll be honest, we've always had groups that were before their time.
Yeah.
Just think now we have a lot of artists that are they not only are they before their time, they have the knowledge to go with it and they're putting it to work. So I have seen some greatness in some artists that I have literally sat back and been like, okay, God, if they'll grab a hold of you, they can really smoke. They can smoke real, like seriously, because they have what it takes. So I just think I don't never count anything out. I won't ever count it out. But I will say this: if we don't get back to holiness, you wasting. We just gonna keep making noise and not make a difference, we wasting time. Period.
Yeah. Right.
That's where I'm at. And so a lot of people, they thinking that because they'll slow it down and throw a praise and worship song in a set, that they say now we're going into worship. No, you're just singing some worship songs. Worship is a lifestyle. And I don't care how much you slow it down and put a way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper in there. If your life ain't lining up to the fact that he is a way maker, promise keeper, miracle worker, and they can't see it through the fruit, again, we making noise. And so we want to be able to make atmospheres conducive, that where God can come in and sup with us, that's what moved me. Now that ain't for everybody. I'm just saying with me. So have we lost hope or is there hope? Yes, it is. It's hope. But we have to just make sure that we turn back to God. We're not going to all get it right. And it's so easy. Man, when you're talented and you're gifted, we really can get whatever we want. And that ain't just in Quartet. That's just period. Like, come on, be a good painter. There's somebody attracted to a nice painter. You feel me? They just don't have to put on a facade like we do because we in the church.
Right.
So with us, we gotta walk this thing out. And so there's hope. And like I said, there are some groups that are out here. I can name some that I'm like, they are really, they can smoke. They can smoke. But one wrong move.
Yeah.
It'll be like next. We done seen it happen so many times. And you would think sometime about all the stuff that we've seen happen, that it will make us be like, okay, I might be doing this, but I want to do it different because I want everything. I want all of the fruit. I want all of the abundance that he wants to give to me. And so it's just a matter of time,
Gotcha. So what's next for Sjuwana and Children of God? What you guys got coming up? Are y'all in the studio? Got some music coming out? What's going on with y'all?
So yes, I do. I will have some music coming up, probably the top of the year, because we're getting very close to the end of the year, fourth quarter, where really, if you're not putting out Christmas music, I don't know if it makes sense to be putting out anything. But then everything is constantly changing. So, but we are soon to go back in the studio. As a matter of fact, in about a couple of weeks, we'll be going to the studio. We were trying to get a single done, and I don't know if they were going to release it the end of the year or the top of the hour or whatever. But I always say, like, it's about God's timing. It really has nothing to do with me. I do the work, of course, faith and work go together. So yeah, we got some new music coming out. If the Lord say the same, we'll be doing some touring internationally coming up in December. If he say the same, if not, then it wasn't purpose for us to go again this Christmas. I used to be gone like every Christmas over in France and all of that. Yeah, I've done that probably a bunch, and I love it because you don't have to work as hard over there. You just, I love
They just be happy.
They appreciate gospel music so much. They appreciate it. They really appreciate it. So we have that coming up, and just trying to just stay faithful and focused, because it's so easy to get discouraged. It's easy to get discouraged out here when you see the same groups on the card, and it's like nobody's looking, But like you said, somebody's always watching it. Because every time I be like, man, that's it. Ain't nobody thinking about us. The phone starts. Every time. Literally every time. It happens every time.
I think, man, I think your gift is extraordinary. I think it's a gift. And I think your honesty is needed. I think it's needed because I know, we have been so churchy for so long that we just know how to do church. We know how to have church. We know how to have praise breaks. We kind of almost can tell a little bit like, okay, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just kind of like clockwork type of thing. And I think a lot of young people have become hip to it, and become bored to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because people want the truth. They want something fresh. That, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I think every time I hear you, it's just, I honestly could say that you are amazing. I know you don't want to, people want to be humble and stuff like that, but I am a firm believer, especially since Keith Wonderboy just recently passed. It's like, I think we need to start telling people.
Wow, they're here. Like, you telling me this now? Yeah. Okay, I'm not cocky, and I appreciate that, because I don't need you telling me that. Don't come to my funeral telling me what I was. Like, my kids, they were all laughing at me because they said, so is your funeral going to be invitation only? I said, well, go ahead and get the invitations ready if you want, because I've already told them, like, that one can speak, this one can't. Because I did get a little irritated once Keith passed, and I started seeing people, he was, I said, if he could have probably, now I don't know how he felt, he was one of my son's godfather. And he always, recognized him as that. And, from the time that we met him, he declared him to be that, wasn't nothing that was done at birth or nothing like that. It was just, they were little. We brought them to Ohio. As a matter of fact, Keys was one of the first major groups, him and Bishop Jarrell, in fact, that we brought to the city of Cincinnati. And from that point on, he took my son, like, that's my godson. I love him. And he's always acknowledged him as that, right? And so, but I said, maybe if he had known how much he meant to so many people, maybe that could have, or maybe gave him a boost to live a little while longer. I'm not saying that he died on purpose. I don't know how he died. None of that it matters. I just know that he really was a legend. But I know that a lot of us didn't make him feel that way. Every time he got an award, you heard more negative about why he got it rather than the fact that he got it. But regardless of the fact, he still made a mark in the industry. We can like it or not, and I don't care who like what I say. But we better start letting people know while they're here, how much they mean to you. I tell people after my sister died, one of my major practices is loving people better, and not only loving them better, allowing them to know what they mean to me, right? Because like you said, you think that we have a very unique ministry, and I really appreciate that. And I can appreciate it more. Maybe that's what I needed to hear to make my next song. You feel me? just sometimes feeling like it ain't nothing like going down to these conventions and ain't nobody a big dog but the big dogs. And they ain't, and half of them ain't hitting on nothing either, if I can be honest, and so then you got the little dogs that done spent their welfare check, pension check, and every other check, and you barely let them get up there and do their little 10 minutes. You rush them off the stage because they're not, quote unquote, the big dogs. That's hard. It's hard now. And I'm saying it in all due respect because I was that mother. I can remember times that, they didn't have to worry. All they had to do was get in the van and go to sleep, fight over their seat, go to sleep. I had to wonder how we gonna get the gas, what they about to do to us once we get down here. They gonna hold my babies at last because they little, they think they can't sing. You know what I mean? Let us get up at 3 o'clock in the morning sing. Now they done turned from little kids to grown alligators. Their voice sounded like alligators because they sleepy. Mine sounded like from a woman to a man because after 12 o'clock, I done turned into a whole man, so I know the journey. I know what it looked like, and it's just so unfair. And so, I hate that you brought that up because it did rub me wrong. Like I seen a lot of it. I seen a lot of people that bashed that baby, and then when he died, they couldn't hardly keep it together. And that's how people do. When people leave, I tell people you don't have nothing but memories or regrets. So make memories and let people know. Let people, like I got some people that I thank God for them. Like I thank God for the Lisa Knowles, one of my favorite female artists is female singing groups is Vision of Destiny. People probably would never believe that, but they are one of my favorite female gospel groups. Of course, Lisa them, they got it, hands down, they got it. You cannot take it away from them. But there are a lot of groups out here that they deserve a standing ovation that don't ever get recognized, and I can name a slew of them that I just be sitting back like, they cold.
Right.
Cold. And they mean a lot to me. And I don't want to let them know, because when they can't hear me say it, I don't know if they can hear me or not. Once they dead and gone, I don't know. We don't know if folks can hear when they dead. We don't know. We ain't never died before.
Right. That's true.
Period.
Yeah, the Bible said that the dead knows nothing.
So they can't hear nothing. So we just, now you're doing all that snotting and crying. And
right.
When I was alive, you didn't even like me. Like, so be quiet.
But yeah, and I am learning to just give people their props while they can hear it, because I feel the same way as you felt. I was like, oh okay, what I'm saying, like,
you broke down, okay, yeah.
But it is what it is. Even at my age, I'm in my 40s and I'm yet still learning, what I'm saying? And that right there taught me a huge lesson. It taught me a very huge lesson. It taught me another lesson about, letting people be so close to you because they'll disrespect your legacy. They'll disrespect who you are because they too close to you. And I understand why a lot of these artists do not allow so many people to get so close to them, because they become too familiar with them and they'll become disrespectful. And I get it. And I think because he was one of those people that was just loved everybody. I think he wanted everybody to win. I really do believe he wanted everybody to win. It's been times he's called me or texted me, because I had posted something he said to me in my inbox last year. He said, "Boss lady, you're too cocky." Because I say whatever I felt like saying. He's like, "You can't be like that. You gotta." He will always tell me.
What he did to me. So when we first got acquainted, so he'd be like, "Yeah, them cheering bad now." I said, first of all, stop with the fake accent, because are you really from New York? So he was like, "Girl, gone somewhere." So he was like, "You remind me of these ladies out of where they from? Wisconsin or somewhere. They got a lot of children just like you." I said, "Now you almost got punched." He said, "But they can sing real good, but they got a lot of children. You know how like you have all your children on one pitch. That's how they will be." He said, "I would like to get y'all all on the program. So you're going to have one side of the church and they're going to have the other side of the church." You know what I'm saying? And from that moment on, you know what I'm saying? Like he always remind me that I remind him of this group. And so finally I did meet the group. And they did have a lot of kids, but they were some straight up, women and stuff. They were really nice. But he always say, you just remind me so much of them, because y'all both got a lot of children, but y'all can really sing. Like, you really got them. Y'all got something. Y'all got something. Like, for real, y'all got something. And a lot of people have said that to me, but it's nothing like believing in yourself, baby girl. And I have pushed a lot of people, but I don't know, like, part of me, I've always felt like stuff can happen for everybody else, but it couldn't happen for us. And to be honest, I have been one of my major downfalls, because it felt like I had to always be in battle trying to protect my kids. Like, I didn't want them to receive some of the hurt, but then some of the stuff I done too, it didn't help it, maybe put some of the doors on pause, because what's for you? If God opened up a door, can't no man shut it. You know what I mean? And so, but I'm really, like I said, if I lost my sister, I'm just at a different place in life. Yeah. I just want all God have for me, but I don't want to forget about you. Do that make sense? Like, I don't want to forget about my neighbor. I don't. And I know this is you interviewing me, but are you a singer? No.
Well, I mean, I can get your church service going, but that's about it.
Well, you can sing a quartet song. So, like, with you watching us, like what you have watched me, what would you suggest that I change? What if just be honest, like, if it's anything that I could do different?
Tell me, they say I'm real rough, but what would you change? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, because you guys have perfected the stage presence. You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
Oh, phone on do not disturb. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I had my phone on do not disturb. See, that was the devil right there. Maybe you ain't supposed to answer that. Maybe you better inbox me that quick.
It's not bad. I think, like I said, you guys have perfected the stage presence. Every time I see you guys own that stage. Even when you walk the aisles, oh my God! Like, I don't think nobody do it better than y'all. I'm gonna call it like that, because every time I see you guys perform, you guys interact with the crowd. The people, like, no matter what. The first time I saw you guys was in Nashville, because I rode down there with Shine. Nashville, Tennessee. I think it was around this time. It was like November 21st or something like that. It was in that big old...
Was it last year?
Yeah, it was last year in Nashville.
Shay Bennett's thing.
Yes, it was. It was her birthday concert.
Yep, last year. This time last year. You're absolutely correct.
And like, you guys caused the crowd to be engaged, and almost everyone on that ticket was bad. Mm-hmm. Everybody was on that ticket was bad, but the lasting impression, it was that you guys engaged with the audience. You guys pulled that audience in, and y'all walked from one side to the other side of that church. And it was just like, and that's what made me ask, who is this? Especially this little dark-skinned woman with this blonde wig on, flying. I was like, who is this? Like, what is going on? Because I had never experienced, I think her phone going out. I had never experienced anything like that. So Sjuwana, you still there? Okay. Your phone on mute. I think it's on mute too. But I had never experienced anything like that. Can you hear me? Okay. Because yours on mute. Okay. You're on mute. But the singing was on point. Like, I remember even when you guys came to St. Louis, that's why I was so intrigued. You know, it's certain groups you hear that come from out of town. You're like, okay, that was cool. That was all right. You know what I'm saying? Then you have some groups where you want to know who they are. And you guys were one of the groups that I want to know who was, because the harmony was together. The songs was awesome. Like I said, you guys engaged with the crowd. So I don't think it's anything that you guys need to do as far as like why it's not our time. Like you say, I believe it's just something that's in God's perfect timing, that even though like it's our time, but God said, no, because if I give it to you right now, you're gonna mess it up. Some things I realized, the things that I got in my possession right now, if I would have had it 20 years ago, I would have jacked it up as much as I thought I was ready for it. But off the top of my head, I honestly don't know what you guys could do anything different. Could it be location? Could possibly be location. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that if you guys was in the South, I believe you guys would run the South. That's my personal opinion. Yes, you know, the Carolinas got Flossie. I know down South got Veronica. You know, Memphis got Lisa. Yes, you know, we got the Kaiser singers, but I truly believe that if you guys were in the South, I think your story will be a little bit different, because we know the South right now is kind of just running things. You know, that's just my barbershop talk, but I truly believe it. I truly believe that, because
they just love it. They're so in this, like I said, in the southern region, you know, that like I said, it's a bigger horizon, and it's just they got more groups. They got, you know what I'm saying? They can start a group like, it'd be like, you see like 5 groups come out of one group, like the gospel jubilees, you know, the gospel headquarters, like the gospel doo-doos and juju things, you know, they all be out of, they can just go change jackets and be smashing every time, like, you know, change one member and be tearing it up. So they you know, you're right, like in the southern region it is a lot different, but you know, I really do thank you for this interview. I thank you for your honesty, and I just thank you for, again, like I said, taking out this time to interview me. I don't take it lightly. I don't know who needs to hear whatever has been said. I just pray that, you know, again, I don't ever want nobody to think that I think that I'm better, or I'm just trying to judge. I'm just trying to live so that God can be pleased, so that I can be, you know, that woman that are watching. Because I get so many inboxes where, especially like from girls, like women, like, how did you get to that place? Or how did you go from, you know, and I just tell them, like, I have to be honest, like, whether they like it or not, I got to speak the truth, even when it don't want to be heard, you know. And so, because I would like to say that I'm kind of like a mentee to so many people, especially the younger generation. Like they already know, like, she don't play. So if they doing something like that, even if they already try to at least line up when they see me. I had that happen. I'd been in a restaurant. They'd be like, "Oh, she love to play."
Yeah, I
I'm
see
sorry.
that.
Or be cussing and be like, "I'm sorry." And I'd be like, "Well, made me the mother out the group? Is it because my hair gray?" Because normally it's gray. You know, they be like, "No, you just got that aura about yourself." Like, I'd be like, "Okay, well, I ain't gonna go up against it. I'm just gonna, you know, thank God for it." Because there have been a time where, you know, people don't see what's on my life, you know, because I was trying to fit in and act like everybody else. Like, no, I want to stand out. I want to, you know, be set apart. That's what, you know, being sanctified look like. I want to be set apart. So, you know, I'm okay if everybody don't accept us. I really am today. I didn't used to be. I used to question God, like, why not us? Why? Well, it have been you. You've been places where a lot of people haven't been, you know, and be okay with what I have trusted you to do. Because really, like, us singing, it landed us the opportunity, like I said, to tour the world, like internationally, nationally, all over. So I never thought my kids would be, you know, able to sing somewhere where they read about in their history book. I never thought it would happen for us. So I don't take it lightly. I'm okay. I ain't really just trying to make a lot of noise. I just want to make a difference. And that's in everything I do.
I think that's the best way to end this interview. I don't want to make a lot of noise. I just want to be the best at what I do. I think that's good. I like it. But thank you so much for sitting down talking to me. I think this has been a very good and intriguing interview. One of the probably most intriguing interviews I have done, and I have done quite a few here lately. And I have to say, this has been very, this has been very intriguing. And I love stuff like that. I thank God for your openness and honesty about some things that most people kind of shield and try to not tell the truth about. But I think that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the truth. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much, Angelus.
Thank you so much as well, baby. And I love you. And hey, keep doing the work. Keep pushing. Don't stop. Don't get sidetracked.
And tell your son that I might need him to, hook me up because,
that's what when I tell you I'm just going to say he's one of the coldest. It's always somebody better, but he is one of the coldest. I'm telling you, he is just bad. He's just bad. He's bad all the way across the board. He is my miracle. That's why I don't play about that boy. You want to see me turn into another girl? I don't play about that one. When the doctor said he wouldn't walk, he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't read, he wouldn't do nothing. And when I've seen the Lord just make a miracle out of him, I don't play about him. I don't. I know he might be a little different and folks don't understand, but I tell people all the time, you ain't gonna always understand, but stop judging books by their cover and let God do the work. A lot of times we don't let God do the work. We push people away. Trust the process. I had to learn that as a mother. But when I saw my baby, it said, he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna talk. He probably won't walk till he get about 300. Everything they said he wouldn't do.
He did.
God, I mean, when he was born, the cord was wrapped around his neck 3 times. I like to say that was for the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, where he was already purple, like literally purple. And the doctor was unraveling one like this, just unraveling the cord. And so they was like, he just gonna be messed up because he, cutting out the circulation. He is the best. He is. I'm sorry.
That's testimony that no one probably even knew about. A lot of the people that's going to view this video probably didn't even know anything about it. And that's one of the good things that I love, that I am able to shine on stories. Not like, people just hear Quartet and they just think we just want to dump the house or drive. But there are stories that so many people have not
praise. There's a story behind our praise. It is. And a lot of times we can't tell it because we got to get up and we got to move fast and we can't tell what God done brought us through. And there'll be people in the audience. There's somebody, like you said, gonna see this, and maybe they that person that the doctor said this, or they feel like they done heard it so much that they walking out what they said. No, you walk out what God said. If the devil said no, God said yes. And so I remember him taking his, when he became a licensed cosmetologist, he would I remember him even taking his driver test. Every time he accomplished something, it always would generate in my mind, what was spoken over his life. And see, I never allowed that to even take place. I can remember when I would be doing hair, because I'm a stylist, almost 40-year hairstylist, and I would be doing it in the front, and he would go get his sister's. Actually, at the time, he would get paper, and he would be moving the paper like actually forming a hairstyle, but I didn't know that's what he was doing. And he would, and I was like, what's this made? There was the waterfall, back then waterfalls was in. So he formed a little paper into a style. So, but then he started getting his sister's Barbie doll, a doll baby. So everything that I would be doing in the front, doing hair, he would be doing it in the back. And about 12, it was history. Wow. I mean, my place stayed. I had it packed. He had it packed in the back, like literally, just took off. And he again now probably one of the top stylists around in our region. No lie, no lie.
Good gracious!
I'm not exaggerating. You can go on this page. He got women that are crystal ball head. When he get through with them, you would not believe it's not their hair.
Well, we need to find out how you go back edges, because these quick weeds be wearing us out.
So because we'll talk about that on another day. Anyway, so yeah. So just come on up, make you a girl trip on up here to Ohio, and hey, we can say, hey, do hair, cook fish, and all that good stuff. You feel me? That's all you got to do. But thank you so much, baby. And I pray that this bless the nation. I pray that, again, if nothing else, remember, we after the one. We're not only, we after the one.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Quartet Corner. Man, we had an awesome time talking to Miss Sjuwana. Man, I'm telling you, name right there, Sjuwana. And it's been, I want to say, one of those talks you have with your aunties that just talk about life. And I thank God for this opportunity, that this day go down in the books, that we had this talk. And I pray that someone